Welcome to episode 2 of Growing Wings, where we bring you inspiration to unlock your superpowers. I am your host, Keira Lani. I help healers to master their energy, to harness their gifts and unleash their power. I bring people back to their true nature through connection to nature, energy alignment, and deep listening. And today I have a very special guest for you in service to the divine and closely connected to the angelic and cosmic realms. Shelley Sol is the founder of the Blue Heart Animal Sanctuary. She is facilitating the creation of Divine Liberations, a spiritual center on 40 acres in Western North Carolina. She is a channel of divine love, a wayshower, a guardian, a gatekeeper, and an activator. She serves as a catalyst for your divine remembrance. I have to receive that with a breath every time I say it. Shelley offers light language activations and diamond light energy attunements using soul frequency alchemy for DNA activation, chakra balancing, and overall divine restoration. Welcome, Shelley. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Keira. I really appreciate this opportunity to share with everybody today.
So happy to have you. I'm feeling this divine connection right now. As you know, and for those of you who haven't been following me for so long, maybe you don't know, but I have a very deep connection with trees and nature and Mother Earth. And so being in the presence of Shelley with all of the work that she's doing with the land in North Carolina, I just can feel that connection. I can feel the trees on your land. I've never visited there. I just am feeling the vibration and the gateways we've talked about. So I'm getting really excited about this conversation. Before we dive in, I just want to say hello to my audience. Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you for sharing, Kenzel. And welcome as you come in. Please do say hello. Krista, hi, nice to see you. And good morning to Cindy. And yes, please share this out. You never know who needs some inspiration to unlock their superpowers. So thank you so much for joining in. And whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, please do connect with us. Let us know that you're here and that you're getting value out of this show. We are here to inspire and serve you on this fine day. So wherever you are in the world, you can receive the blessing of inspiration and insight. And we're going to have a really special offering for you later in the show. So stick around, learn about Shelley, and receive some of her beautiful gifts. Thank you so much. So Shelley, I want to ask you, my beautiful goddess, what is your superpower?
My superpower is multifaceted, and it's constantly being revealed to me on a daily basis. Just when I think I have an understanding and an awareness of what it is that I do and the gifts that I have, things suddenly come into greater focus. And that's kind of all about this journey. We're these ever evolving, ever expanding beings of love and light. And when we can just surrender to the divine and get out of the way, all these beautiful gifts are revealed to us in the divine right time. So I'd like to just share a little bit about how my superpowers have been revealed to me. And I used to say that I had a sudden awakening last year just prior to the total solar eclipse. But now I kind of have the awareness that I've been gearing up for this my entire life, having this heart of love and this heart of service, especially with the animals, my true connection with the animals. It just kind of has laid this beautiful foundation for me to be able to bring in these high frequency energies. And it was last year, I went to a crystals class at a community college. And when she laid the stones on me, it was as if someone had flipped a light switch. Just that remembrance of, this is my truth. The feeling of the vibration and the frequency of the stones sparked that remembrance in me, and has put me on this path of just greater self-awareness, and just coming to the place of we are all one, we are all connected, just this place of beautiful unity consciousness. And I had a session, energy session, in which the angels came and gave me a message. And the message was, you're a facilitator, trust God and allow it to be. And at the time, I didn't really fully understand what those words meant. And then on the 6/6 gateway, I had another amazing, divinely orchestrated session. It was with a man who can read people's basically soul blueprints. And the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, you're a facilitator." And in this instance, I was able to ask for clarity. Can you please explain to me what that means? Because I had angels give me that message. The angel was Hamiel, and her message is usually trust and allow, relax and receive. So it was just a beautiful alignment and confirmation there that, yeah, this was truly an angelic message. And so what he explained to me was that I'm an activator. I hold high frequency energies. I'm able to bring through very high frequency energies, and I act as a catalyst to remind people of their own divine essence. And so through light language, through sound, through crystals, through this whole alchemy, I'm able to spark remembrances in people of their own divine nature. And I have a really funny story to share. I drive Uber and Lyft on the weekends just to fill in the gaps, and I realized that I am of divine service in that way. I'm activating people all night long, and it was really quite cute. I had a gay couple get in the car. It was a family, actually, and I didn't look at him, I didn't speak his name, I didn't touch him, but he felt energy in the car, and he had an immediate activation, and he was just like, oh, what is this? Like, I'm a gay man, I don't understand these feelings. And it was really cute that it was a confirmation for me that I don't even have to do anything other than just be and just allow this frequency to come through. And if it is the right time, then people can have a sudden awakening, a full kundalini rising, or it can just be planting a seed. And so however it is supposed to be it is just all according to the divine plan. And I'm so incredibly honored and grateful to be of service in this way.
What a beautiful story. There's so much there. I definitely had a few different things come to mind to ask you about. And I decided to dive in deep right away. So this sounds so beautiful, to have divine remembrance and presence and activation. And I'm wondering, a lot of people are feeling like life is a struggle, like, how am I going to pay the bills, or how am I going to communicate what I feel is important to me, to my loved ones? And maybe they're worried about family members, or they're feeling loss or pain. How can this help people? How can this type of activation and presence actually help these real world problems that people are experiencing?
Sure. Well, we all are graced with a choice in every moment of how we choose to respond. And when we do see the world through the eyes of the divine, and that everything is an expression of the divine, everything is divinely orchestrated, it can kind of take you, you can get to the place of stepping back from your emotional attachment to your current view of reality. And when you can just return to your heart, just allow that connection to the divine, then in every moment, um, you begin to not be so triggered to outside influences. It's all about just going within, going into your heart space, establishing that connection. And what's been important for me is to ground it out, because I'm finding that a lot of those of the light who are doing this work, we love to be up here in all these high frequency energies, because that is what we remember, that is what feels so good. But those energies are needed here on earth. And when we can just begin to ground ourselves out, it puts us in a place of being less reactionary to what is um, before us, reflected in our current reality.
Do you happen to have a story from your own experience of a time when you were able to utilize this to get you through a challenge in that way?
Absolutely. I had a release. I'll back up a tiny bit. Um, it was revealed to me, or it began to be coming up, that I have experienced a lot of childhood traumas, and I didn't have a lot of childhood memories. And so I've gone through Akashic Records readings, and have really been looking to explore more of why I don't recall much of my childhood. And I wasn't really fully ready to look at that. But in March, I had a friend that was staying here, and it came up that yes, I had a lot of traumas that needed to be worked on and cleared. And I went to Mount Shasta, and more was revealed to me at that time. I really needed to do some inner child work. I really needed to face these things that were so deeply suppressed, because when we have this fear and pain and this suffering within, that prevents us from bringing through more light. So it's really important to bring these things up to the surface, to look at them, and then to be unattached to that experience. And so it was one month after I returned from Shasta, I was in an energy session, and I had the remembrance of being strapped in a chair and having other beings, ETs, on either side of me. And they were torturing me for my light. And there was another being that was in front of me that was not in physical human form, but I recognized the energetic signature of their soul, of their spirit. And in that moment, I remembered I was able to bring back that piece of my soul into myself, that fragmented piece. And instead of reacting with more fear and pain and suffering, I shifted. You can offer love and forgiveness and compassion and understanding in every moment. And when I speak these words to you, that terrible things have happened to me. I have experienced horrific things that are of like horror movies. Yet, those are just experiences that I had. And each one of those experiences has made me stronger. We are able to transmute any experience that we have back to love when we stay in our hearts. Return to our hearts. Yes.
So much, Shelley. I could feel that, and because I have my own experience of how powerful forgiveness and compassion are in our own healing, I felt a really, really strong resonance and remembrance from your sharing. And so I really encourage anyone who's watching this to really take these words to heart, no matter what has been perpetrated on you or your family members, no matter what you have experienced. The forgiveness is your way out. Letting yourself be in the love and compassion is the way to move through these traumatic experiences. When we rest in resentment and pain and suffering and think of bringing that back onto the other people, we actually perpetrate the cycle within our own being. And it's so powerful. It's such a powerful healing to allow forgiveness to move through you, and then to forgive yourself is the next piece of it. That's often the most challenging piece for a lot of us. So thank you so much, Shelley, for doing this work for yourself and then offering to share with others and help others to come to this place of divine remembrance and love and compassion. So if anyone watching us live has any questions for Shelley, now would be a great time to pop them in. I'm just going to check in with the comments again. And then we'll move on and offer you a little bit of an experience of Shelley's beautiful energy. Hello, Melanie. Thank you for joining us from Perth. I love how we get to have this global audience. And hello to Laura from Ohio. She's a little bit closer to where Shelley and I are, kind of in between us. Shelley's over there in North Carolina. I'm here in Oregon. And isn't it magical that we can have this conversation and really connect energetically as well? Kathy is another amazing being of light who shares her gifts with the world and connects with the trees. And Neeta is saying light language. I think I just need to trust that I speak it. So can you speak to that a little bit, Shelley, about the light language? I also had I have also had an experience with light language that comes through me in song, not so much in words and language. So I'd love to hear your experience a little bit with light language and how do you connect with it?
Sure. I started bringing through languages, remembrances of languages back in January. And it's funny because I can remember listening to people who had posted Facebook videos of them speaking the language and how unusual it sounds to human ears. And then what I've just come to know and trust is that it's not so much of like the sounds that are coming out as it is the frequency of our voice. And so it's just getting into this place of surrender and just trusting and allowing. And yes, before we speak any languages, before we bring anything through, we always want to just clear our own energy field and just set the intention that any sound speak, any words that come through are of the highest frequency, that they are the divine speaking through you. So I was in Shasta where I have a little story to share. It's really quite pertinent. I went into this shop called Soul Connections, and it was just this amazing place in Shasta. I'm sure if you've been to Shasta, you've been there. Everybody knows Soul Connections. And I didn't realize there was a third room with all the Lemurian crystals. And my friend kind of facilitated me going back there just by happen chance. And when I walked into the back room, there was a woman that was sitting on the floor, and she had bowls all around her. And she said, "Oh, good, you're here. I've been waiting for you." And I'm looking, and I was like, "What, me?" And she's like, "Yes, dear, sit down." And then we had this beautiful, like, hour and a half long exchange of energies. And she really helped me to remember the truth of who I am. I am my own being. And we just began speaking language back and forth. And that really was, it just opened me to allow more of, this true, beautiful language to come through. And
Mm.
I'm really feeling ever so called to speak it everywhere I go. When I'm out in nature, touching the trees and putting my feet in the stream, and especially with the animals respond to it so beautifully. They love to have the language spoken to them. But even when I'm driving my Uber, sometimes just kind of under my breath, I'm speaking. And I had an instance on Black Friday just walking through the mall, and I was just speaking. As people were walking by me, I could see them get a smile on their face. And again, it is just the frequency of our voice that is really making the difference. And when we can just not let our conscious brain kind of come into play, and if we can just release the need to try to figure out what are we saying? What is this? Is this real? Just set all that aside and just go back into your heart. And that's where the true magic can begin to happen. That's when we can just allow the frequency to just come through. It's really beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, I hope that answered your question, Nita. I got a lot out of that. So
Mm.
Faye is asking, so the universe is remembering itself through us. When did it ever forget itself?
Hmm.
I
Remembering itself through us.
I feel I'm gonna give my answer, and then I'd love to hear your reflection, Shelley. To me, the universe is expressing itself through us, and we have an opportunity to remember consciously our true nature. It would be my interpretation. And the universe, the forgetting of itself, I think it's more about the universe um, is expressing itself through us, because the universe has sometimes words just don't express, like, because if I say, oh, the universe has a desire to experience, then you say, well, why does the universe desire? Doesn't the universe have everything? And yes, it's true. So it's a great conversation to contemplate this greater consciousness, this concept of the universal consciousness, and what does the universe remember or desire. So I'd love to hear your reflections on that as well, Shelley.
Sure. Well, I don't really believe that. Let's see. Let me find the words. Hmm. I believe we've been dormant. Like there's kind of been like just like this covering, and it's not like the universe has forgotten, but like we've kind of like lost that true connection. And when that veil can begin to diminish and we can begin to reestablish our connection, it's that spark of remembrance within ourselves. We are all connected. We are all one. This beautiful, unified field of glorious God source creator energy. And it's just reestablishing that connection. And in my instance, because of the experiences that I had throughout my childhood and adolescence of being repeatedly contacted by ETs, certain things were done to, I want to say, splinter my mind, but definitely brought a thicker covering of my true essence. And now I'm in this place of that veil has fallen. And I am stepping into the truth of who I am. I am embracing my divinity. We are all divine beings.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
You
yes.
just speak those words over yourself, everything begins to shift in your experience. It's remembering our divine essence, remembering the truth of who we are. It is a divine vibration.
Mm. This is beautiful, and it leads right into this question from Carrie Mayweather. How do we best help extend our cosmic connections with other beings? I feel like part of the answer is in what Shelley just said about just embodying that divine remembrance, recognizing that we are a part of the divine and expressing that. Um, but this could also be a very deep question with a very involved answer, and it can be so simple as just that recognition, and then recognizing, not only recognizing the divine cosmic connection within yourself, but then recognizing it within the other. When you look at another and you see them from your place of divine cosmic connection, then you see that within the other as well. And you feel, and then for me, it's like I start to feel this almost palpable sense of divinity as it expresses itself through all of the creation, through not only the other humans, but the animals, the trees, the wind, the sun, the stars. So what else do you have to share about that? Oh, and let's add the other part of the question, and trust it. That makes it an even deeper question. The trusting is, it's almost like trust has to come in like a conscious. It for me, trust had to be a conscious effort before it felt natural. I don't know if that was for you, Shelley, as well, but for me, I had to actually say, okay, I've seen enough to know, so now I'm just going to actively trust. And then it's like surrendering. It's such a, to surrender into trust is a powerful practice. And it's like, so it's like, how do you surrender, how do you trust? It's like one of those things, just do it. So please reflect if you have anything to add to that, or your interpretation.
Yes. Well, we all have an angelic team, a cosmic team of support here. And just as with the angels, um, acknowledging, recognizing, connecting, asking for their assistance, calling to them. And it is the same with our cosmic supporters as well. And again, we're just so right on. They're all expressions of the divine. And again, as I spoke of before you begin to speak, light language, you're just wanting to connect in with those of the highest frequency, those who serve the divine plan. There are a lot of other beings out there. And so when you're beginning to establish connections with the cosmics, it's helpful to just set the intention that you're only connecting with those of love and light, of those who serve the divine plan. And they're there. It is a really simple answer. It's just, like you said, just surrendering and allowing that facilitation of that connection that already exists.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Oh, I loved your answer, and giving yourself permission to ask for that to come to is so powerful too. For a long time, I myself would um, want to connect more in a general way of just being open. But if you actually ask for what you want to call in, then you're more likely to be getting the results that you want. So thank you for that reminder. That is so important. And thanks for the love, Sue. Nita is responding, it's more melodic when she speaks light language. Yeah, for me, I sing sacred geometry into the water, and it's really beautiful practice. And it's each person, when you allow the light language to come through you, it's an allowing it to manifest as it is through you, and it's so beautiful. I'm getting really excited to get to experience this, but we're going to check in with a couple more comments first. We are the universe. It is alive and perceived from within us. Yes. Teresa says, I love your light language, Shelley.
I love you, Teresa.
And Colleen says, thank you for sharing your experience. It helps us feel we are here on purpose and it is our time. Thank you for sharing that, Colleen. Yes, it's such a valuable reflection. It's really important as humans that we share our experience, because it gives the other humans the permission to also share their experience and remember that we are in this together. So often we feel very alone. I'm seeing I'm getting washed out by the sun. I'm becoming a being of light.
Yes, you are.
But so yes, the value of reflecting in others is really cannot be discounted. It's so important. Cindy says, wow, that was profound. I was in foster homes for years and have very little memory. During my adult life, I've rarely thought of that. But strangely enough, for some reason at 61, I'm thinking about that a lot. Also been growing spiritually and awakening. I was wondering if maybe there is a connection. It sounds like it, Cindy. And this is, again, bringing me back to the trust subject. If you are feeling a connection, if you are receiving a message, trust it. These things don't come through randomly for no reason. So if you feel a connection, then yes, there is a connection, is the short answer to that question.
If I could just speak on what Cindy has commented here. When we experience traumas, especially as a child, we block like whole things out because it's so painful. And as we're doing this work, ascending, those traumatic experiences, those suppressed feelings and emotions, they're being stirred, they're wanting to come up. And again, when we can just bring those up in an unattached way, when we can just step back and see them as just experiences, and then to just, again, get into your heart and offer love and forgiveness, releasing those, transmuting those with love, enables us to bring through higher frequencies of love and light, to bring through greater expressions of divinity. But like that darkness, that fear, that shadow, it is going to continue to come up until you are face to face with it. And it is our grace how quickly we choose to process, release, clear, transmute. And in an instant, you can. Truly, the things that I have remembered would have taken a lot of people into a place of months, years of suffering. But that is our reactions to everything, is what we're putting back out into the grid as our offer to the collective. And for me, it is love. It always comes back to love.
Beautifully said, Shelley. Thank you so much. Cindy also says, wherever I go, I collect smiles, also bond with animals and all things in nature, at peace most on my hill in rural Missouri. But I kind of feel like there is a veil. Wow, you just said veil while I'm typing this, between me and a total awakening. And yes, the veil is a very good word for that, Cindy. And that's the work that Shelley and I both do, is about clearing those veils out so that you can be connected to your true nature as a being of nature, a being of light and beauty and love. I love how it always comes back to love. Thank you so much. Let's see what Teresa has to say. We are in an ever-expanding universe. As we are different expressions of this expansive universe, we remember the whole of who we really are. We remember our magnificence and our divinity.
Yes.
And
beautiful. Thank you, Teresa.
And Laura is asking if she can hear me. Oh, if she can hear, I said I sing sacred geometry, and you know what? I'm actually I'm not going to do that on the show today because we're going to experience Shelley's light language on the show today, and I am actually going to be singing sacred geometry into the water at the solstice retreat that I am offering on Saturday with Teresa Warren and Rhonda Elliott. That's one of the things that I'll be doing at that retreat, is sharing. This will actually be the first time that I have shared my particular light language singing of sacred geometry into the water outside of my own personal time in nature. Is usually when I do this, when I'm at a body of water. And so this is kind of a big, exciting thing for me. This will be the first time I'm sharing that particular offering this weekend on Saturday. So maybe you can join us for that, Laura, and otherwise stay tuned for the next time. And very soon, though, we're going to tune in to Shelley's light language. I can do that, but I guess I don't know how to remember. I live in love. You guys are wonderful. Well, that's a good place to start, Cindy, to live in love. And this is kind of like the trust, like to know how is something that we place a little bit too much importance on from our education system. We need to know how to do that. We need to know how to remember. We need to be taught. And yes, it can be taught experientially, but it's not something that we can learn intellectually. And so perhaps this experience that we're going to share with you today, because we are getting close to our time, I want to make sure we have time for you to experience Shelley's light language. She generously has offered to share a light language activation with all of you. And so perhaps this experience will touch into that place of remembrance that you are looking for, that cannot necessarily be deliberately called in, and yet it can. So yeah, just allow yourself, Cindy, just allow yourself to be open to receiving. And for everyone who's watching, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, if you would like to receive this activation, just allow yourself to be open. And I'm going to just turn it over to you, Shelley.
I just would like to speak to what Cindy commented. Our words and the things that we speak over ourselves are so powerful. So I would just invite her, instead of saying, I don't know how to remember, just to shift in, I am in a place of remembrance. I am remembering more and more of my gifts and abilities every day. To just remove the negative self-talk out of our vocabulary and just, again, yes, just surrender and allow the divine to, we're playing. This is basically just a game, and it's just when we can stay in our hearts and just relax and receive, then everything starts to just fully manifest forward in the most beautiful way. It's just magical. So yes, I invite everybody to, let's just synchronize our breath for a moment. And we can all just take a deep breath in and out. And one more deep breath in It's truly amazing when we can pause and just allow this energy to fill our whole, I call it a Leonardo sphere, all around us, just to allow this divine energy to come and just envelop us with its goodness. Ah, so beautiful. So again, I just invite you to listen with your heart, not so much with your human ears, but just to feel the frequency of my voice. And the frequency that I speak is of the highest good. I'm truly honored and grateful to allow this to come through. Meata, shumekuna, te anna, pupetetea ashka, rumea, dea tuna, shuku, te anna, rume anna, deshko, purea, rume anna, te oshka, te ruhume a, te kurea, me durana, pute ashka, sheti a, ru, keturana, mea, shutum, he hana, rumekatua, tea, shumetu, keta, tumana, ketunea, te uma, she, ketu, me korea, betum, rum, Betureata, ranna, me ora, bekuren, shekuran, beturea, ona, shukurum, betureata, sheketu, beturana, beturakea, shetu, mekana, me, mekuram, measka, mekuda.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shelley. Well, it's interesting. I didn't ask you the question that came early of how do you activate, how are you a catalyst for divine remembrance? And you just completely answered that question. The resonance of your voice is so powerful, and the energy that came through you put me into a feeling of ancient Lemuria is the only way, like that's what it felt like to me. And I know like that might not be very descriptive for people if that isn't what, you know, if you had an experience that you can't explain, I'd actually love to hear from any of you what you may have experienced in receiving that light language. For me, I definitely experienced exactly what Shelley said she could offer, divine remembrance. I felt in my being the ancient wisdom that is indescribable. It's the same ancient wisdom that I connect to with the trees, but in a completely different form. It's the same ancient wisdom that I connect with in crystals. I'm very strongly connected to the land of Hawaii, and the spirits speak to me there, and it's the same feeling was coming through of when I did a past life regression, and at the very end I found myself giving a gift of a beautiful green crystal that came out of my heart, and in my brain came this thought, Lemuria, I was there, and you just transported me back, not just to the knowledge of this ancient wisdom, but to the experience of it, and so powerful. So let's see what else came through. Teresa could feel the ancestors. Cindy felt like she was in a vortex spiraling, but slower. Yes, I love that. Neetas says her crown chakra was tingling. Peace on earth was the message that came through. Wow. Yes. Yes, thank you. I will second that. Thank you for all that healing, Shelley. That was amazing. Oh, and Cindy said whoo twice, so that must have been a really good one. Yeah, I loved that. I have not experienced Shelley's toning before, but it was pure magic, and now
Yes, I am.
so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are just an amazing being of light. I am so grateful to have shared this time with you. And I just want to ask before we close out if anyone would like to connect with you and receive more guidance or activation, how might they do so?
Reach out to me on Facebook. The name of my healing center that I'm facilitating the up here, Western North called Divine. So you can Divine Liberation, or I'm on Facebook as well. And you do send me a request, just ask a quick message, just to be connected here. Way I have over 1,000. If I don't catch it on that first moment it comes in, you can just begin to get just a little barrier. Please reach out to me. I love this person, and I look forward to the more. And just want to remind you, have fun. Place of joy and happiness every day, no matter what. Just get back to childlike. Everything is unfolding perfect. Everything is according to divine. So just relax, surrender, allow. Everybody is perfect. Everybody is at the perfect place for the journey, and having their abilities back on perfect time. So it's wonderful.
Oh, you're kind of breaking up pretty badly right now, Shelley. I don't know. Cindy said, Cindy, are I also breaking up? Can you hear me well, Shelley?
I heard you up a little bit.
Was I?
Reverberation.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to wrap this up, and leave a comment below to reach out to people if you would, Shelley, and make sure that they know how to get in touch with you, because you were breaking up pretty significantly. And so I think that just means it's time for us to wrap it up for now. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who tuned in to this live, or if you're watching the replay. We're really grateful to you because the energy is cyclical. It doesn't move one direction. So through offering service to you, through you receiving the service, then it brings the whole collective up to a higher vibration. So thank you all for receiving this beautiful offering. And please reach out to Shelley if you want more, and let her know who you are. I heard that much, that she would like a message along with a friend request. If you want to let her know why you're reaching out, then she'll be more likely to respond to you.
It's just
Yeah.
acted here, and yeah, I just love the person.
Yeah.
So thank
Yeah,
you.
I didn't hear everything you said either because it was breaking up, so I thought I'd repeat what I did hear. And yes, Shelley is so high vibe. We're so grateful to connect. She has just brought up the vibration of everyone by being here today, and so I look forward to the reverberations that come from this as each one of you touches in more to your authentic nature and unlocking your magical superpowers, because you all have them. And I look forward to sharing more with you next time. And I'm also here on Facebook if you want to learn more about my services and how I can help you to connect with your innate abilities, your healing powers. Then please do reach out to me or connect in with my page, Tree Gong Healing, or my group, Optimize Your Energy. And I really love connecting with you all one-on-one or in messages, just to continue to raise the vibration and share the light. And I also have a beautiful solstice event coming up on Saturday. There is still plenty of room, plenty of time to get in and register for that event. It's going to be held on a Zoom call, so whoever comes is really participating rather than just a video. We'll all be together sharing in ritual, removing the veils to unleash our authentic beings and connecting with the water within and without, singing sacred geometry into the water. There will be Reiki and dragon meditations, qigong movement and breathing, and it's going to be a really magical, deep, expansive activation experience along with the full moon energy and the solstice energy. So if you want to join in, please reach out to me and let's get you in so you can receive more. And yeah, and we'll look forward to connecting with you again, Shelley, and much love and light. Blessings to all. Until next time.
Um,